Not too long ago, I did a video about Hawaiian Huna and Maxwell Freedom Long and how he went to a kahuna to help him sell his photograph shop in Honolulu. And she was successful, even though he had tried 3 times before to sell his shop to this one particular gentleman who would be naturally the best buyer. She was able to make it happen without ever talking to him, just by doing her huna. So what is this huna that is so powerful? Well, if you've watched my channel very much, you might have heard me talk about the inner children, adults, and elders, the inner personas. What's really amazing to me is that I was taught this by a Cherokee medicine man and a Hawaiian elder. Now, the Cherokees are originally from the Smoky Mountains. That's almost 4,500 miles away from Hawaii. So how did both of these share these similar beliefs? Well, in my humble opinion, it's because they're not beliefs. They're facts. They're scientific facts. And science is just learning about how brain waves correspond with our ages as we develop. So, our brain waves correspond with our ages as we develop, and they correspond with our inner children and adults and elders. This is a big key to this huna. On an EEG machine, brain waves can be measured. This is the electrochemical activity of our brain. Everyone has 4 brainwave frequencies. When we're awake, we have beta brainwave cycles. Now, this is the weakest and most common brainwaves we experience. Our waking or beta brainwaves are recorded at 14 to 32 cycles per second, and this is when we're fully functioning and aware. Now, when we are asleep, we experience alpha, delta, and theta brain waves. Alpha brain waves are recorded at 7 to 14 cycles per second, and this is known as REM sleep. This is the brain waves we experience when we dream. We all dream, whether we remember our dreams or not. And this is also where our brain waves are when we reach a meditative state. In the womb, an unborn baby experiences a brain wave of 0.5 cycles per second. After birth, these slowly increase, but stay in the theta cycle until around the age of 4. From birth to age 4, we experience life as if we were in deep meditation. At about 4 years old, we experience delta brain waves. We also experience delta in a deep sleep, under general anesthesia, or in a coma. It's been proven that even in this state, we're aware of things that go on in our presence. Negative conversations are extremely damaging, even around someone who appears to be unconscious. And that's why children are so much more aware than people realize. They take in everything that's going on around them, whether we realize it or not. When we're between the ages of 7 and 14, our alpha brain waves are being perfected. And once we reach 14, we develop our beta brain waves. So as you can see, our brain waves increase as we age. So if we want to get in touch with the inner children, we need to slow our brain waves down. And this would put us in the exact frame of mind that we were when we were younger. How do we slow our brain waves? This is where the information I learned from the wise kahuna medicine woman comes in. Our breath is very important. Not only do we need oxygen to think and survive, but it's the way we take in energy from our environment. If we consciously think of our breathing in that way, we'll get more out of each breath. If you're male, think of the breath as coming from above. If you're female, think of it as coming from below. The energy comes in through your crown if you're a man, and your root if you're a woman. This is very important. When we start something new or begin a new task, we often take a deep breath. Consciously remind yourself to do this. And when you do, remember to bring that energy in from the correct source. As you breathe in, try to slow your breath. One of the best ways to do this is to slow your exhale. Close your eyes and take more time to exhale than you did to inhale. Try to take a little pause in your breathing before you inhale again. If you have a clock nearby that audibly ticks off the seconds, you can time your breathing. Most of us spend way too much time with beta brain waves. This would be our inner adults, the part of us that tells us we have to hurry up and make it to our appointments on time. Don't forget to do this. Don't forget to buy groceries. Don't forget to pay this bill. All those mundane daily activities that keep us busy. That's what we need to slow down in order to be able to listen to our inner children and our inner elders. Remember that babies who have just been born come to us from the other side. As a newborn, we were closer to the Creator, the source of our energy, than any other time in our life. The slower we can get our breathing and our brain waves, the closer we will be to the source of our power and theta brain waves. This would give us the ability to tap into those unseen energy fields I told you about in the previous video. Each of the three personas, the adults, children, and elders, have very real but invisible shadowy bodies. These are like transparency overlays in an encyclopedia. The triangle symbolizes all three shadowy bodies of the inner personas when they are connected. The three are yoked together. It's been said that this is actually the origin of the Holy Trinity. Father, Son, and Holy Spirit are the inner adult, children, and elders. Of course, this is very male-centered. We know that our inner children, adults, and elders are both male and female. To say they're only one or the other is to deny half of our power. Aka is an invisible, sticky, stretchy, shadowy substance. Aka forms an aura around each shadowy body of the inner personas. Aka produces a thread-like connection between the three selves to keep them all connected, and it's up to us to keep this Aka strong. So how do we keep these three shadowy bodies of the inner personas connected with a strong Aka cord? With mana. Mana is vital life force energy. It's the same thing as chi. Mana is very fluid, like water. It conforms to the shape of its container, and like water, it can leak away. Thoughts have an Aka body and are connected to previous thoughts by a thin Aka cord. We're familiar with this concept. We express it as a train of thought or a stream of consciousness. Positive thoughts produce mana. Just as we can get mana from food and air, when we take in a deep breath and imagine taking in energy from the earth or the sky, we're also taking in mana. And this mana is stored with the inner children. But it's shared with the inner adults and elders. And when we take in a breath, remembering to bring in the mana from the correct source, we're using our will to replenish our mana. The elders change mana to double strength, called mana mana. This happens when we're asleep and when we consciously ask the elders for assistance. This stronger mana is used to control the inner adults and our inner children. This is our willpower. So, we take in that breath from the correct source, and we fill our body up with it, allowing the negativity to just flow out first. And we fill it up with the goodness, the negativity flows out, and eventually it rises to the top. It flows around us just like a fountain. And then the children collect this manna, this water that has overflowed, this wonderful pure energy, and they give it to the elders, much like a little child would give a dandelion to its grandparent. Once the inner elders have it, that's when we can turn this manna, double strength, into that mana mana, pure energy that we can work with. Be sure to subscribe and hit the bell so you won't miss any new videos. I'll explain how to use Huna and our slower brainwave activity to manipulate those unseen energy fields to manifest the future we want. Just like the kahuna who helped Maxwell Freedom Long sell his shop in Honolulu. Thank you very much for watching.